Keli, kind of to kick things off, tell us, why initially did you get started with nutrition coaching? So what was the big, powerful goal that you were looking to achieve?
I am looking to regain some fitness and lose some weight after some hormonal issues and other things have kind of resolved in my life. And I am just struggling on my own. I'm just not getting there on my own.
So some guidance, some accountability, like having someone
Yeah.
help you do that.
Yes, I needed a coach. It has focused me on specific actions and things that I can take to start instead of, you know, I've been through some things. I've heard a lot, know a lot, read a lot, and none of it until you can get those actions, specific actions. Let's do this, this, this. Narrow it down. Nothing was working. It's like I was scattered. I was not progressing. I just kept going down a road that I didn't want to go down. And I knew I should be able to stop myself, or I thought that, but I wasn't. I couldn't. And I felt kind of lost and sad and alone and didn't have much direction. So that's when I signed up to kind of get focused and action steps, get in with the group, get some support. It's, learning suggestions, just hearing everybody else's videos and things. I get ideas from them. It's maybe not what I'm working on, but it helps with what I'm doing. It may not be exactly what they're doing. Like when Patty mentioned she's trying new vegetables, it's like, well, I need to get more vegetables into I'm working on menu planning, but I can look for things that have vegetables in them. It just kind of pinged off of somebody else. And it's been very helpful and supportive. I've enjoyed the group, and it gives me a focus and keeps me accountable and on it, kind of keeps it in my head. So I've got to check in 2 weeks. I need to do these things, and I'm working on this, and it's working well and keeps me making progress.
I love that. And I think you hit on a really important topic, which is that consumption. So like we could all Google all the things and, reading articles and listening to other people and listening to podcasts is not the same as consistent action. So having like a customized plan that's for you, right. Each coaching call, right. Leave with a concrete action item, and then what you're expected to work on and, provide feedback on. So I think that's exactly. A really important point.
And somebody else's perspective on what I'm working on is very valuable. You don't know what you don't know. Somebody from me looking at you saying, okay, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Oh, look at it this way has helped. You get wrapped up in your own head and you lose all traction.
Speaking of, Keli, kind of getting wrapped up in your own head, I want to touch on when you initially decided to move forward with nutrition coaching. I know there was a little hesitancy because, like you said, you had tried things before. Mm-hmm. What was the number one fear that you were feeling before making that decision? Like, can you put a name to the one thing that maybe was holding you back, or the one fear you had about investing in nutrition coaching?
That it cost quite a bit and I was going to self-sabotage myself, basically.
Yeah. And I know you had said
what we're working on right now.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you have to be willing, and you were, right? You have to know, okay, what I'm trying isn't working on my own, or maybe with something else or a different program. I know these things are holding me back, and I know it might not always be comfortable to work on them, but unless I want them to continually hold me back, I need to be able to kind of like face my fears and dive right in. And you ultimately decided that you were worth the investment and worth diving into this self-sabotaging component. So what helped you get over that hump? Like, was there something that you were thinking of as far as like, why did you ultimately decide to pursue coaching despite the cost, financially, effort, time, energy? Like, why did you do it?
Because I did not want to continue down the road I was on. I'm at the place, like I said, I have right now, all of my markers are still good. My blood pressure is still pretty good. My blood tests and things are all still pretty good. However, I have noticed on some visits going in, I'm at the place where my blood pressure was starting to creep up. And it's like, no, the time to do something about this is not later. It's like, it's now before it gets to be a problem. I need to take the opportunity and appreciate the health I've got and do everything I can. You know, your insulin resistance goes up, your blood pressure goes up. Blood pressure is huge in my age group.
Mm.
And it's like, I need to keep that down and do everything I can to keep myself healthy because I've got grandkids. I don't like feeling like this. And, you know, I don't want somebody to have to take care of me. That's it. Yeah, it
I
is.
love that. So essentially, I think this is something I want to dive into more, but later is this wonderful fairy tale concept of like, I'll do it later. I'm not going to work on it now. I'll do that later. But later is really just saying, I'm choosing not to ever work on this thing because later never comes, right? We ultimately have to decide like now, I love how you said that, like the time is now and I'm going to make change now, or I'm just going to decide not to make the change. And I think, wow, that was, I couldn't have said that one better myself. So Keli, you made this decision. Tell us how the process of coaching has helped you change certain patterns or certain behaviors and how it's helped you progress closer towards your goal.
Basically, it's given me clear targets to hit along the way. It's those markers. It's like this goal way down there. It's like, I can't necessarily see how that, but I can take this 2 week, whatever the goal is this 2 week that will get there. It gives me something clear. And that's what I never could get. You can't always drive the entire trip in one day. But if you know where you're going to stop and you plan it out, you go this far and then you can go this far. And it's like, I can do that. I can do that much better and have a much better understanding. So I said, it's clarified things in my mind. It's given me some successes along the way. But yeah, it has been very helpful.
I think what you're describing, Keli, is so often we like set this goal and it becomes the tippy top of the mountain, right? And then we just keep looking at the mountain like, I have so much further to go. That's so far away. Exactly. And on our coaching calls, which are 2 weeks apart, right? We get to say like, well, look how far we've come. We celebrate the wins and the successes. Exactly. And then we say, what's the next step? Like, what's the next milestone that we're going to celebrate? And we sort of forget that top of the mountain until we just get closer and closer incrementally.
It is. And it's really been helpful. Like I said, the support of the group, that's a lot of that too. When people have wins and successes, it is teaching me to recognize the wins and the successes along the way and not just, you know, be sad that I'm not at the end. Right. If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense.
Because there's a lot of, you know, the small victories and things that you win in between there that on the way to the goal
are worth celebrating for sure.
Yes, they are.
So Keli, final question. What would you say to someone that was thinking about investing in nutrition coaching? Would you recommend it? And what would you have to say to that person?
Oh, I definitely recommend it. And I think, you know, just, do you want to keep going like you're going, or do you want to change it? You know, that's ultimately the thing. Because like I said, I knew a lot. I've got a lot of knowledge, but until you can put it into small actionable steps, you can't get there. And sometimes you don't know which ones you need. So like I said, if you want to start turning it around, like I said, try something different. You know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting, you know?
Yeah, the same results, right? If you keep the behaviors, you keep the problems. So you can choose to make a change or stay the same.
Yep.
I love it.